Welcome, y'all. It's Crystal from Beautifully Broken Crafts, Hauls, and More. And today I have 5 fall crafts for you guys. The first one, I took that pumpkin wreath form from the Dollar Tree and some scrap drop cloth I had on hand in my craft stash. I either bought it at Walmart or Home Depot a couple of years ago. So I just cut down, I can't even tell you how many strips of that drop cloth in strips of, like, we'll say 4 inches long by half an inch wide, and I tied them on all of the vertical portions of that pumpkin wreath form from front, from left to right, right to left, however you want to say it. I'm only going to have you guys watch me do one section where I'm at right now. I didn't leave any of the filming in here for the whole thing because we'd be sitting here for hours. Honestly, this did take many hours. Like, it took me a whole evening just to get all this tied on there, and then I came back to it the next day to finish it. But it does turn out really cute at the end, which you guys will see here in a few minutes. So I did just tie those, just one knot, didn't like double tie anything, double knot anything or anything like that, all the way up to the top. Next day, there it is, all tied up. So for the stem, I used some jute twine, also from the Dollar Tree, and I just wrapped it majority of the way up of that stem. I tied it at the bottom, and then I hot glued it to itself at the top, and then cut off the excess. And then I decided to decorate the top of this wreath form with some of those pastel orange leaves from the Dollar Tree, and I also used the blue ones as well. And then I used only one of the white pumpkins from one of those leaf picks in the center of it all. So I used the combination of floral wire and hot glue to stick all these leaves onto the wreath form. Oh, and there is one section I did miss. I think I forgot to hit record. I did take one of those little wooden words that you get out of the fall crafts pack. I think it's like 6 different words. And the word blessed I chose. And I mixed the color Mermaid Parade by Apple Barrel and a little bit of white Waverly chalk paint together to paint that word blessed. And then I'll glue it to the front of this pumpkin, which you guys are about to see the finished product here. There she is. Ta-da! Isn't she cute? I did end up putting some LED lights in the background of it just because my daughter kept telling me it looked like it needed something else. DIY number 2 here. I had these 2 signs that are identical from Dollar Tree. They were in the clearance bin from like a year ago, 50 cents. And I attempted to use the nail polish 100% acetone to get that decal off. It did not work for me, so I just grabbed that little razor thing I have to scrape it off with some Windex on it, and that worked just fine. So once that was done, I went over both of these frames, because I do 2 of them, in the Waverly chalk paint color ink, aka black. I did not paint the back of it, and you'll see why towards the end. But I did paint, the front, the sides, and by the glass, I just used that little piece of cardboard to make sure I didn't get it on the glass itself. So I think I did two coats of this on both frames. Next day, I went back to it, and then I take this chalkboard easel, because I'm actually going to be using 3 of those rub-on transfers Frugal J sent me in Happy Mail. So this first one I use, it's I'm Here for the Booze, and it's just the ghost in the center. And I thought he'd be super cute on this little chalkboard easel, so I just stuck him on there, and that one was done. I did go back and add a little bit of polka dot ribbon on it, but I didn't take a picture of that. And then on this one, I used the Ghouls Just Want to Have Fun. It's with the little girly ghost. And I rubbed that on the glass of that frame that I had painted black. And then I go through my stash of scrapbook paper I have from Walmart. And I picked out this background just because it had all the fall colors in it. And it complemented it well. And then I hot glue that paper to the frame, and then I trim out all the excess. So technically, DIY number 2, you guys are getting 3 for the price of, for 3 for 1, technically, because I do 3 of them in this clip. So I just trimmed down all the sides of this, and once I get it to how I like it, I reinforce that paper on there with some more hot glue. And I set it aside, and then I go to the other frame I have. And with this one, I'm using that rub-on transfer that says Hello Autumn. And I have this one going horizontally, and I used more of that scrapbook paper. It's the same piece to glue on the back of it. I did leave the bottom part unglued because, as you see here, I'm taking one of those bags of the pine cones and pumpkins to put some inside the frame. I was going to use the pumpkins, but they were too wide, so I just put in a handful of the pine cones. And then I decided I didn't want this frame black no more. I wanted it white, so I did 2 coats of the Waverly white chalk paint on that. And because you can still see the blue under the black in the glass, like I wasn't going to pop the glass out of this frame, I just took some jute twine from Dollar Tree and I went around the inside of these frames. That way it would camouflage that blue, that baby blue that was, or the original color of these frames. So I did that on both of these. And then I Mod Podge over the paint just because the paint didn't like the texture of these frames. I probably should have Mod Podged the frames first and then painted them, but it is what it is. Anyways, here they are done. Ta-da! So there's the ghost ones. And there they are again. And then there's the Hello Autumn. DIY number 3, I made a beaded garland to hang across my fireplace mantle with some beads I had on hand from my craft stash from Amazon, and then also some beads I had from Hobby Lobby. And I took the 8-pack of wooden ornament leaves from Dollar Tree, and I just painted all 8 of them. So what I did here is I wanted them, like, more multicolored. So if you want to achieve this effect, just pick your colors of paint you want, dip one side of your paintbrush in one color and then the other side of your paintbrush in the other color, and when you press down, the color on the opposite side will bleed through. And I do show you guys a close-up of what the leaves look like once I'm done, so you can see how those colors kind of streak through for almost like a marble effect. I learned this technique years ago. Maybe I went a little too fast there. You guys will see a picture, though, at the end of this. And then I just used the Dollar Tree jute cord twine with some painter's tape at the ends to, so the beads could thread through easily. And I just made a pattern and put those on. And then I go back and tie the leaves on where I want them. So there it is, completed, hanging on my mantle. But before I put it there, I did have it right there on this dresser top, so you guys can see all the different colors. Anyhow, DIY number 4, I took these 3 wooden pumpkins from the DT. I sanded down those letters some just because they were super, like, in your face. And then I go over all 3 pumpkins with the white Waverly chalk paint just as a base coat, because I knew it was going to be a pain in the butt covering that orange with, if I was just going to go straight with the colors. So I'm going to do that same technique on these pumpkins that I did on those leaves, with the one side in one color of the brush and on the other side the other color. And I'm going to paint the first pumpkin I did orange and yellow. The second one I did in warm buff and ballet slipper pink. And then the last pumpkin I did in celery by Waverly, a light blue, and a little dab of the Mermaid Parade by Apple Barrel, just to give it more of a darker blue hint to it. So that blue one has actually 3 different colors in it. Then I take this galvanized metal sign I had from the Dollar Tree that says welcome, and I glued it to the top of the 2 pumpkins. And then I had these vinyl stickers from the Target Bullseye Spot. I think I don't know, it was a huge packet for like $3. It had all different words. It was technically for the wedding section, but I just wanted the letters and numbers and all that was in there. So I just spelled out welcome, and the welcome in the galvanized, and then to our patch with those black stickers. I Mod Podged them on so they didn't fall off. I even used my heat gun a little bit just to ensure that, they sealed themselves. That's what I'm trying to say, to those pumpkins. Mod Podged a little bit more. And there she is, all finished on my mantle. I hate that cord in the background, but it is what it is. DIY number 5. I had this little bullseye craft, Target bullseye craft thing for $3 from their craft section in that bullseye spot, playground, bullseye playground. Anyhow, so I just painted the inside of that frame white with the Waverly white chalk paint, and I left the outside of it the natural wood color. So the frame is natural, but the inlay is white. So I did 2 coats of the white on the inside, and then I took those pumpkins and I painted one in the Waverly chalk paint ballet slipper, one in the Waverly celery chalk paint, and one in the Waverly pumpkin chalk paint. I do paint the stems on the orange pumpkin and the pink pumpkin green, and the stem on the green pumpkin I painted orange. This craft was actually a super fast one. And then I took my Antique Waverly wax with a baby wipe, and I just faux stained the phrase that came with that crafts packet that says "Hello Fall" in the wood, in that, to make it look like wood, like a stained wood. And then I laid out everything where I wanted it to be. That little test tube glass, I want to say it's from Michael's. I've had it for like 5+ years, so I'm not 100%. I just hot glued it down with 3 dabs of hot glue, and then I glued down the "Hello Fall" and the pumpkins, and then I felt like it needed something else, so I do go back with a couple of the Dollar Tree hay bales, the mini ones, and put those under the pumpkins. And then I also use a little bit of Spanish moss and some florals from Dollar Tree for that test tube. And I put Spanish moss down in that test tube as well, just to cover up some of that clear void that was in the test tube. And there I am putting Spanish moss alongside the hay bales. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and all that goodness. I love you guys for watching and taking time out of your day to see these things. There it is without all the writing over it. Let me know what you guys think. I can't pick a favorite. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.